Welcome to Archive Mind, your memory palace for mastering difficult concepts, where we turn complex topics into simple bite-sized lessons you'll never forget. This video is part of a wider series in the geography playlist. Today we'll be exploring heat waves. Let's dive in. Let me guess, you've either just survived, are currently enduring, or dreading another heat wave. You know the feeling, right? Tossing and turning at night because it's just too hot to sleep, stepping outside and feeling like you've walked into an oven, that wall of heat when you're just trying to go shopping or play sports outside. Even ice cream melts before you get 2 bites in. Well, you're not alone. Imagine Earth as a giant stove. Some places are sizzling like a frying pan on full heat. North Macedonia, 37 degrees. Dubai, 39 degrees but feels like 57. Meanwhile, the UK is just 22 degrees. Why the wild difference? Is it just summer or something deeper? Let's break it down and explore why heat waves hit some places harder than others. Firstly, what is a heat wave? A heat wave isn't just a regular hot day. It's when temperatures stay unusually high for a prolonged period of time compared to what's normal for that region. Think of it like a fever. If your normal body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius, even 38 feels like something's wrong. Same with climate. A heat wave is local and depends on what's normal there. Let's move on and compare some real-world locations. So North Macedonia and Bulgaria are currently experiencing temperatures of 37 degrees and even higher. Why, you may ask? These are landlocked countries. Without oceans nearby, there's no cool sea breeze. Instead, the land just absorbs and traps heat. Plus, high pressure systems are creating what's called a heat dome, where hot air gets stuck and builds up. This is being experienced through Europe right now. The UK, only 18 to 22 degrees. The UK surrounded by ocean. The Atlantic winds and sea currents act like a natural AC system, helping keep things cooler. Also, the UK is further north of the equator, has a higher latitude. But keep in mind, even the UK can reach temperatures exceeding 30 degrees. The UK heat is quite interesting to explore. It can feel particularly intense due to a combination of high humidity, a lack of widespread air conditioning, and buildings not designed for hot weather. The UK's proximity to the ocean and prevailing southwesterly winds bring moist air over land, increasing humidity levels. This high humidity makes it harder for the body to cool down through sweat evaporation, making the heat feel stronger and more intense. Additionally, many UK buildings are designed to retain heat rather than dissipate it, and air conditioning is not common. Kenya is near the equator, yet it's cooler. Strange, right? Well, not really. Kenya is now experiencing the winter season, and right now, being July, the cooler, dry season for much of East Africa. So being near the equator doesn't always mean scorching heat. Dubai is 39 degrees but feels like 57. Well, that's due to humidity. When humidity is high, sweat can't evaporate. So the feels like temperature or heat index skyrockets. So what's causing heat waves to get more frequent and intense? Well, firstly, climate change. Greenhouse gases trap more heat in the atmosphere. The jet stream is also weakening. Normally, the jet stream moves weather systems along, but when it weakens, heat waves stall and linger. Urban heat islands. Cities with concrete and glass soak up more heat than forests or grasslands. Europe's 5 hottest summers have all happened since 2003. That's no coincidence. Heat waves don't just make us sweat, they have real consequences. Some of which are health risks. heat stroke, dehydration, and even death. Elderly people are highly vulnerable as well as young children. Food shortages, crops fail, livestock suffer. Infrastructure issues such as power grid strain, roads melt, and train tracks warp. Wildfires, if not the biggest and worst consequence, hot dry conditions spark disaster, leading to biodiversity loss in ecosystems, as well as a loss of crops. So how do we fight back? Well, green urban design is a start. Planting more trees, surfaces that reflect heat for sustainable green buildings and homes, smart irrigation and water management, especially in dry zones at high risk of heat waves and desertification, education and early warnings, helping people prepare and be aware of the risks associated with heat waves and how to stay safe from the heat, tackling climate change, reducing CO2 emissions and your carbon footprint, community solutions, rooftop gardens or heat shelters. It's all about adapting and preventing. So, let's recap. Heat waves are prolonged periods of abnormal heat. Geography matters. Coastlines, elevation, latitude, longitude, humidity, and wind all play a role. Climate change is making heat waves more frequent and intense. The impacts are huge, but so are the solution. And that's a wrap. If your brain feels a little cooler from that knowledge, give it a like, share it with someone who's melting, and hit subscribe. Follow Archive Mind for more bite-sized lessons that make complex ideas memorable. As always, drop down any suggestions for videos and see you next time. Stay cool out there.